I am at the Paul Bunyan Show 2024, and I'm with CJ LaRoche. Now, you guys have quite the business, tree service, but you guys do everything, literally everything that can be done for tree service. Is that true?
That's true.
So, where did your company start, and when, and how? Give me the details.
Yeah, it started in high school, and I started doing residential tree work. And I was about 15, 16 years old.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So
started mowing grass and then transitioned into tree work.
So that was about 3 or 4 years ago.
Thank you. That was 22 years ago.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
you look like you might be 19 or 20.
I'll keep it that
way. So you started doing residential stuff, but you saw that the tree business is where the real money was because it's bigger projects, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so what did you start out with? Just yourself, a saw? What did you do?
Yeah, my dad's pickup truck and a trailer, and I used to mulch the limbs up once I put them on the trailer and stack them and then unload them by hand. And then I went to a small chipper, just what little pieces I could afford at the time, and then a chip truck finally, so I could quit shoveling out pickup trucks.
So what's your advice to people in business in general, especially tree businesses? Is it go and borrow $1 million and buy a bunch of equipment?
No,
I mean that
sounds good.
Build it as you can.
Yeah,
correct?
I mean you can't appreciate each piece of the process if you don't start out doing the little stuff, doing the hard work. And then when I bought a chipper, I was like, wow, this is a lot easier than stacking on a trailer. But I only had that appreciation because I stacked a lot of brush on trailers.
Right.
So a little piece at a time is the way to go,
right.
in my opinion.
Yeah, mine too. That's how I am with the firewood business. I tell people, don't go buy big piece of equipment that you're making payments on because the bank's the only one making money then.
Sure.
Build it as you go. Reinvest your money back in your business.
Right. Yeah, I always looked at the weakness, like where was my slow point on a job, and
what
then
slows you down?
Yeah,
what's costing
you
you time?
needed a bucket truck at some point, then you need a truck to pick up the logs, so you see what's holding you up, and then at least for me, that's what I did. I just went and bought that piece of equipment that I needed a piece at a time.
Right. So now you guys obviously got lots of big equipment. What was the progression as far as equipment? What did it to get to this? How did it go?
Like I said, started out small chippers, bucket trucks, and then it went to bigger chippers and bigger trucks, and then eventually we started the right-of-way work and clearing, and it was feller bunchers, excavators, and still then it was a piece at a time. The buncher, the excavator, track chipper that you see sitting over there, and stump grinders and mulchers, but again, piece at a time, and we just progressed into what we needed for the job.
You guys got a crane and everything too, an operator, you rent that out?
Yeah, so we still rent a stick crane, and we have a good operator local to us, so he comes out and does our crane rental jobs, and those work out well.
So what's the deal with this thing here? What do you do with this?
Well, besides have fun flying it, we aerial saw with it, so you can pan over eventually to this truck, and it's got one of the aerial saws on top of it, and this truck is a support truck for the crane, or the helicopter, and the beam you see up on top is actually, we'll get saw blades on it.
Yep.
And they're just torn down now, but that'll be put together on the job, and then the helicopter will hook up to it, and it'll hang down from the helicopter, and we'll side trim right-of-ways, gas lines, highways, railroads, power lines. Yep.
Where's the biggest jobs?
Oh, power lines, and all over the East Coast, up and down the East Coast.
Right, and is it contract for government work, or is it for the power companies,
utilities,
or all the above?
Yeah, gas companies, utility power companies. And then we also do lifting, so that helicopter, we can put a rope under it and a hook, and we'll haul wood off of wetland areas or steep terrain, so we can haul material out.
And how many employees do you have now?
With aviation and tree service, it's about 200, 210.
No kidding,
that ballpark.
So how many different crews go out at a time?
Oh, like on our right-of-way clearing, we may have at any point 10 to 15 crews, depending on how we divide the guys up. On the helicopters, we've got 4 helicopters and about 7 pilots that work it. So they have a 2-man crew that'll go out with each helicopter.
That's amazing, considering you started in high school trimming a few trees to get to this.
Yeah,
awesome.
Thank you.
That's awesome. And business is good?
I mean, it's okay. It was better a few years ago. And I think everybody will tell you that.
Oh, yeah, everybody, and they know why, but we can't talk about it because it's that topic.
We'll leave that alone, though.
I try to stay out of it, too.
It looks like it's going to get better. I mean, sometimes you got to go through the tough times to get to the good times.
That's absolutely right. So, of your equipment, what was the hardest one to get?
Oh, COVID probably made stuff the hardest. That's when things got really difficult to get. But honestly, most everything we've been able to get. And then we didn't talk much about it, but we got to put a little attention on the mats that we have here.
Right, so you guys make those, right?
We do, because one of our other divisions is a sawmill. So we are branched out No pun, right? But we're into a few different things, and the sawmill's one of them. So we construct these mats, we build them, we sell them, we rent them. Timber mats, 3-ply mats that you can drive on with pickups, mine cribbing, railroad ties, whatever you can think of with wood products. We assemble that in Ohio.
Mats are primarily oak?
Hardwood.
Just
So
any
it could be
hardwood?
maple. Yeah, it could.
Same as
could be
railroad tracks, right?
Sure.
Ties.
Yeah, the railroad ties will be whatever the company asks for, but
Right.
primarily just hardwood.
So what percentage of your business is the sawmill and selling lumber compared to your tree service and trimming and all that? How does it break down?
The sawmill may be about 10% of our business. Our residential maybe same thing, 10%. Our right-of-way is probably 80% of our business. And inside the right-of-way is also an environmental crews that support the right-of-way and doing silt sock and erosion control, seed, straw.
So how do you do that? Is it outside source that you bring in for the environmental study stuff, or is that done ahead of time, or do you guys have a guy on staff to make sure everything's done according to?
We got two guys on staff that do inspections.
Guys.
So we got guys that check and make sure the crews are doing it correctly. So
Nice.
we're like a Swiss Army knife, you know.
Oh, wow,
just
that's
a bunch of little branches that perform well and feed into the whole operation.
So then in your operation, as you were growing, was there any missteps where you went a direction and it was wrong?
Yes.
So what were those?
Colored mulch. I got out of that. That was terrible. It was messy and it didn't make a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you try a lot of things. You see opportunities, you try them, and you say, okay, gave that a year, I gave that 2 years, and that didn't work really well. And,
Right.
You know, if at the end of the day it doesn't generate a profit, that's what you're in business to do.
Yep.
You have to kind of say,
No.
probably shouldn't do it.
Yep, that's the toughest thing in business. I own 3 small businesses. My YouTube is one of them. But the hardest thing to do is to learn how to say no and when to say no and make more mistakes, because the faster you make mistakes, the sooner you can correct and get back on track.
Right.
Most people get paralyzed by one mistake. Like, they get to the first hurdle and they're like, they stop and they get paralyzed, don't know what to do. Well, either go over it, go around it, or blast through it.
Right,
I mean,
right.
you can't, you gotta be relentless, don't you?
You do. You gotta be relentless, but you shouldn't hate, if I'm gonna give somebody advice, you shouldn't hate the mistakes.
No.
I mean, the mistakes are good. You paid for them.
You paid for them, they're valuable.
So some people, I see like they just take it as a loss and don't look at it for what they can get out of it. It's like, these mistakes you paid for, just look at what you can learn from it. And there's a lot in the mistakes. So a lot of the missteps we took, directions we went, they weren't bad because they helped us get to where we are. So you got to make mistakes. It's part of the process.
99% of people avoid pain, and mistakes are painful.
Oh,
But once you get to
100%.
realize the fact that making a mistake is a good thing, but you got to recognize it as soon as possible and adjust.
Yeah, if you don't act accordingly, it might really take you down. But you need the mistakes. You got to have them. Nobody operates perfectly.
And that's true in any business. Any business.
Sure.
It doesn't matter what you're doing. Tell me about your mats here. So how many of these do you produce a year? What do they cost?
So these are 3-ply mats. We could produce maybe 20 to 30 of those a day.
A day?
Now those aren't our number one producer. We actually make the timber mats, which are square timbers bolted together, and we call those timber mats, crane mats. Now we can do about 55 of those a day.
No kidding. What's the finish you put on the edge to keep it from rotting? What is that?
Actually, that's just more of a paint that we're using. Let people know there's a seam there.
Oh, okay.
It gives some visibility, and we've beveled the edges. So if you see, it's not just a straight edge there, a corner. They're beveled on purpose. We try to keep people from tripping here at the show, but we do that anyway.
Nice. Is this your crane here too?
Yeah, Giraffe actually. So that does the same job as the helicopter.
No kidding.
It side trims the tree wall on the right of ways.
Oh,
and they've got their strengths.
Cool. So who makes this? Where is this made?
I want to say that comes out actually Minnesota. Prenoth and Giraffe.
No kidding.
Yeah, I think that is a Minnesota company.
So a lot of people are going to want to know what's your most expensive piece of equipment you got. What is that? Single piece or a group of, like, I've told you helicopters.
The helicopter.
Helicopters are
the
nuts.
helicopter. Even if it wasn't the most expensive to buy, it would be the most expensive to maintain. Like if you look at
and a pilot.
Yeah, look at one of those blades on the top. It's got 5 rotor blades on it.
Yeah.
They're like $17,000 a blade.
A blade.
So sometimes you throw a tooth off the saw and it goes through the blade. $17,000. And they have a time limit on them. I think the time limit's, don't quote me, 3,500 hours. So at 3,500 hours, they might be perfect. You throw them away.
Oh. Now I hear that about the windmills too. They only last so long. The maintenance on them is killing people because they take 200 gallons of hydraulic fluid like every month. It's
the
just
maintenance.
insane.
It eats you up in maintenance
I know
costs.
2 guys that work. One's in solar power assembly, and the other one is the wind assembly. And they both tell me the same story. We're paying for a lot of equipment that might break even.
That's right. That's right. That stuff can be hard to make money with.
And people don't get that. It just takes so long to get the money back, and they stick so much into the maintenance and all that they're like, I don't know how anybody can make money doing this, because they just keep pumping money into it.
Hey, I can agree with that with helicopters. I mean, they take a lot of money and a lot of maintenance, and you have to work hard to make profit with them.
Very nice. So you obviously own the place. Do you have a manager below you that makes sure he takes care of several of them, different divisions?
That's been the key. Is you got to have the right people. You got to have good people, and we have really good people. We have the best people. They come to work. They work hard. They like their. I mean, I think they love their job, and they have a good attitude. And I mean, it's the people. Whether you're in the tree business or not, you're in the people business.
It doesn't matter what you're selling; it's a people business, because that's where the business is. It's people. So when you're doing these contract things, like for your flying with your power lines, your land clearing, are you bidding a lot of stuff, or do people come to you and say you're the people?
It's all of it. We're bidding. Some people are coming to us saying, hey, we know your product, just do the work for us.
Yeah.
So we have a mixture of all of it.
I suppose people you've done work for in the past, they know you're the guy.
They trust us.
It's good to be the guy.
You want to be the guy. Yeah, that's what you strive for, is to be the guy they can count on, they trust, they know, hey, these guys aren't going to take advantage of us. We don't have to watch over them. They're going to do a good job. They're going to keep their people safe. And that's one thing that we've done really well, is keep everyone safe. I mean, we put safety at the top of the priority list, because it's a dangerous business.
Right, and it's expensive when people get hurt.
It's expensive when it gets hurt. And I know everybody here.
Yeah.
So I don't want to see anybody hurt. I know all 200 people.
And you have to face their families if something happens.
And knock on wood, I hate to even say it, but we've done pretty good keeping everyone safe.
How was the insurance for you? Is that a big thing? That's big bite?
The biggest is health insurance.
Yeah.
That's the worst insurance.
Yeah, I'm self-employed, so I know.
You know.
I know.
I mean, it goes up every year, and it doesn't get better.
I've said this to a few people, and you'll understand this. I have a family of 5. I'm self-insured. I've been self-employed for 30-some years. My youngest son was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when he was 2.
Sorry to hear
that was 23 years ago. But our insurance cost for our family went from $800 a month to $1,200 a month. This is every year, to $1,800 a month to $2,200. It went to $2,400 a month just for my family.
Unbelievable.
That was going out, and people talk to me in the community. Oh, my insurance went up $50 this year from $200 to $250. I don't know how I'm going to pay it. Like, you have no idea.
It's all relative, isn't it?
It's all relative.
They don't have. Yes. Even for us, we're insuring. Maybe 150 employees are using our insurance.
Oh, yeah.
And, our family plan, it's cheaper than what you're paying, but it's not a lot cheaper.
I know.
And we have that many people in the pool. So
I just can't even imagine.
The health insurance is expensive. The helicopter insurance is expensive per helicopter.
Yeah.
And the business insurance is expensive as well for liability.
You got to have liability.
Equipment.
I got an umbrella policy, so I have a building, and I have to cover my building. If any slip and fall stuff, you got to cover that. It just keeps eating away, and then obviously taxes, because I have property, and it's like, that's the stuff people don't talk about.
You don't want to say all that together, or you don't want to be in business if you do.
Well, that's just awesome. Thanks so much for the talk.
Thank you.
Nice seeing you.
Yeah, congratulations on all your success.
Hopefully sometime I can get with these guys, and we can do some stuff on the job. That would be awesome.
We can do that, actually.
Yeah,
we can set that up.
Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. Good night, Irene.